Hi guys, so in this video we will talk about how to explain the gap year. So a lot of candidates have gap year and every year a lot of candidates are rejected because of the gap year and a lot of candidates are accepted in the B schools even if they have the gap year, right? So first thing first, you need to understand that whether you have a gap year or whether you don't have a gap year, the things you can't change as of now, right? So you should better focus on preparing yourself for the upcoming interview given the whatever the situation you have. First thing first, if you get the call, that itself means that the B school or the professors are interested in you. And when you are going for the interview, just carry the confidence that yes, the professors called me, and believe me, uh, the opportunity cost of 1 hour that the professor, or the 30 minutes that they are giving just to you and not doing anything else, they are focusing only on you. The opportunity cost for them is very very high. They could have earned or they could have done anything better than that, right? And they themselves don't know whether the next candidate would be serious about them or not, right? So if they are interviewing you, if they are giving attention to you, that simply means that they are interested in you and they are looking therefore to select you and not to reject you, right? Now coming to our main question, that what is gap year, and if you have a gap year, how you should explain that, right? So majority of the candidates or a good number of candidates are the ones who have gap year because they were preparing for the UPSC, right? Or they were pursuing any other career option, right? And they couldn't get success into that career option, and the reality is then they shifted to the MBA and now they have cracked the CAT entrance exam. The other type of people is that the one who couldn't get the job right after the college, and then they started preparing just or focusing just for the CAT, and now they have cracked the CAT. The third type of people is the one who left their job to focus on the CAT, right? Basically these are the three main categories, and the fourth would be some XYZ circumstances that happened and that led them to not taking up the job or leaving the job or not pursuing the job at all. And now they have cleared the CAT, or they have scored good amount of score in the CAT, and now they are going for the interviews in the upcoming months, right? So when it comes to the UPSC candidates, right, your reason is very logical. There is nothing wrong. For example, if you want to target UPSC, right, obviously you can't do the job, right? So there was no mistake from your side at that point of time, and the interviewers know about this because every time or every year a lot of candidates get admission in the B school who were preparing for the UPSC. They were pure UPSC aspirants, but still they are in the B schools. The next thing is that आपने admission आपका UPSC में नहीं हुआ. Again, this is very common thing, right? I believe that 0.01% of the people get success, right? Success rate is very low. तो there is nothing wrong in that, है ना? If you didn't get success, but you must have gotten some knowledge about administration, about the politics, history, civil, economics, right? ठीक है. तो till that point there is nothing wrong. Now they just want to test you in the interview whether you were the good candidate for the UPSC, not candidate but aspirant, right? Whether you were the good aspirant for the UPSC, and this would be the major part of your interview, right? Most of your interview revolves around this, that what you did during your UPSC days, and obviously they will throw a lot of questions. Hopefully you will be familiar with them because over the period of upcoming months you will be preparing for that, right? For example, geographical, historical, political, civil, and what is happening in and around the world. These are some of the basic things that are expected from a guy who are preparing for the UPSC, right? So you should be very well versed. Now they wouldn't ask you like why there is a gap here, because they already know that you might have to explain that I was the UPSC aspirant, है ना? The next thing they would ask you, why you shifted from UPSC to the MBA, right? There could be infinite personal reasons, but when you are in the interview room, you have to be very conscious about what you are saying. Don't sound to them like your only choice or you didn't have any choice, that's why you are pursuing MBA or something like that. No, don't do that. Say to them, or make a good story out of it, right? Don't change the reasons. but try to draft it in such a manner that it sounds very good to the listener or to the interviewer, right? Maybe like, I couldn't get success, but I had like uh, initial liking for the management for the MBA, and then I found that though the courses are different, but the path and the learnings are similar, right? I couldn't get opportunity through the UPSC, but I believe that the B schools would teach me enough of management and other subjects that would help me to not administer the district but administer some companies, some department, sort of वो you can get the answers reviewed, है ना? वो सब आपका framing में आएगा, right? तो this is the major thing. The second type of candidates were the ones who couldn't get placements, I believe, right? Who couldn't get placements or who have left the job, right? So, for example, let's take the first case, the candidates who have left the job for preparing this CAT, right? So, for those candidates, the situation might be a little bit tricky. For example, if you just have a gap of 4 to 5 months, they won't, I would say, won't question a lot of things on that. But if you have like gap year of 1 or 2, you need to explain the reasons, right? So, any day you can build on the personal reasons. Might be you were suffering from XYZ things, there were medical reasons, but I would say ki even if you have genuine medical reasons, it's good to say, but a lot of times it sounds that the candidates use medical reasons as an excuse, so don't go for that, है ना? Instead of that, try explaining the things actually what happened during your job time, how you got the motivation to do the MBA, and make them explain that so yeah, I was like very adamant, or I was very sure about pursuing an MBA, and I thought that why not to do it from one of the top tier B schools, and for that purpose I thought of cracking the CAT, and I couldn't find enough time during the job. Then they might question you that why you can't multitask, or why you then explain the reasons depending on your circumstances, but sound a little logical. Don't just say that you left the job because you want to give CAT, or you want to score high in the CAT. That is like very stupid thing, because the professors really see CAT as a aptitude test that literally didn't require a lot of efforts as per their understanding, है ना? And the reasons that I am giving right now is just my personal opinion, right? You should have your personal story. The more personalized your story is, the better your chances to convert the college, right? Then the third type of candidate who didn't do any job after their college, right? So they might not have a lot of things to say regarding their job experience or something. They have to tell a lot of things about their college time or something. Then the professors might ask you that yes, you were graduated in 2022, but now the year is of Feb 2024. What you did in the last 2 years. So there you know need not to explain like you have a gap year. The professors already know about your gap year, but you have to tell something that excites the professors, or that sounds interesting to them, because then they will build their questions on that thing. That you can say that yes, I pursued this thing, and I couldn't get the job, but I was working on improving my personal skills, on improving my communication skills, and apart from that I was pursuing this and that course that I found that might be helpful during my MBA time, right? And I had uh, interest in the marketing domain, so I read these books, I followed these channels, right? I did something like that, or something you should be telling them, right? Don't lie, right? The first rule is don't lie. Second rule is that if you want to lie like no one can catch you, right? The problems will become multifold as soon as they catch you. So I would suggest don't lie, right? If you think you had to lie about something, then practice it like 1,000 times before stepping it into the interviewer's room. But lying is not any day appreciable, right? So these are basic things. So my main agenda to answer this why gap, right? No one will ask you why you have a gap year. Even if they ask you why you have a gap year, you just need to explain like what was the reason for that gap year, and then build upon that what you did during that time, or how you utilize that time. That is one of the most important thing you will be telling about them, about your experience during the gap year. And this experience should not entail that you were preparing for the CAT. Preparation for the CAT should be like 10% of the total time. Rest 90% should be attributable to something else, right? And you have to be very smart in answering such questions, because generally such questions are asked you to get your view, to know more about you, right? But if you are not good at answering those questions, that might backfire you, that might backfire the entire discussion, है ना? That might impact your convert. So, and believe me, everyone has gap year at some point of time. Not everyone, majority of the people have. Like I had gap year from November, December to uh, like I left the job in November, right? Before the CAT, right? So my gap year was like 2, 3, 4 months. Hopefully, no one asked me about that, but I had a lot of things in my mind that if they asked me about my gap year, I would explain this thing in such a manner. So either you should be very good at explaining the things, or either you should prepare yourself beforehand, right? Even if you didn't do anything, there is no issue, because the other person on the other table of the on the other side of the table don't know like what you did during that year. They will be getting to know more about you only through your words, right? There is no thing as CV, right? You will be getting just in the interview room with a file, most probably that will have some documents or something, but they won't look at anything. They already have your data about 10th 12th, and they will discuss you about those things, whatever they want to know, right? तो ऐसा कुछ इतना नहीं होगा वहाँ पे. The only thing that might backfire you is when you can't protect or when you can't explain your things, right? तो वो एक ऐसा सिचुएशन हो सकता है जहाँ पे you are saying something and then you are unable to answer on the things that are related to the thing that you explained earlier, right? तो गैप ईयर का इतना टेंशन नहीं लेना है. जस्ट फोकस ऑन टू थिंग, वाई देर इज अ गैप ईयर एंड वॉट यू डिड ड्यूरिंग दैट गैप ईयर. एंड there is no right or wrong answer. It completely depends on what you are saying. And if you are saying something like you pursued painting, you pursued dancing or something like that, make sure that you know a lot of things about dancing, painting or something like that, right? And if you know about that stuff, then you are almost 100% safe, right? And believe me, there are a lot of candidates with 3 years of gap, with 4 years of gap, with 2 years of gap, with 1 year of gap that convert every year. And there are a lot of candidates who have 0 years of gap, right? But still they couldn't able to convert the calls. So it completely depends on how you are explaining the things in the interview room. They are also the human beings, so they understand you, and these situations can happen with anyone. Also, I believe that at some point of time they also must not be doing anything, and the interviewers might have a gap here. So इतना कोई लोचा नहीं है गैप ईयर में, राइट? एवरीवन हैज़ इट एंड एवरीवन नोज दैट यार कि ठीक है, अब आदमी ने 1 साल छुट्टी ली है तो ऑब्वियसली कैट के लिए पढ़ रहा होगा. बट द वे ऑफ एक्सप्लेनिंग ऑल दोज थिंग्स शुड बी डिसेंट इनफ, राइट? एग्जैक्टली लाइक व्हाट हैपन्स इन द कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड, राइट? तुम्हें अगर झूठ बोलना है तो तुम्हें अच्छा झूठ बोलना है, राइट? या तुम्हें कुछ अपना नेगेटिव और द लो पॉइंट डिफाइन करना है तो तुम्हें कुछ अच्छे वे में डिफाइन करना है, बस दैट्स द थिंग. कुछ ऐसा उसमें अलग नहीं करना तुम्हें, ठीक है? तो दैट इज ऑल फ्रॉम माई साइड. इफ यू वॉन्ट एनी अदर रिव्यू और एनी अदर सजेशंस, जस्ट पुट इट इन द कमेंट्स. थैंक यू एंड शेयर द वीडियो.